Hey everyone, we all do it, right? You see a star rating and you just trust it. But what if I told you that number is barely scratching the surface? Today, we're going to dig into the real science of online reputation and figure out what actually makes a business trustworthy. So let me ask you something. You're looking for, I don't know, a new clinic, a restaurant, whatever. Which one of these looks better? You've got 4.5 stars from just 10 reviews, or a 4.2 but from 500 reviews. It's a classic problem, isn't it? Your brain says higher number, but your gut is telling you something else about that huge volume of feedback. Yeah, it's kind of a trick question, because the truth is, neither one of those numbers tells you the whole story. Not even close. To get a real answer, you have to go way beyond a simple average. You need a proper data-driven approach. Okay, so let's break down the secret sauce here. The first big ingredient in a real reputation score is something called visibility. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's all about measuring the sheer volume of the conversation. Now, what's really important to get here is that visibility has nothing to do with whether the reviews are good or bad. It's just how many are there? It's pure quantity. If a business has high visibility, it means a ton of people are talking about it. And that, right there, is a super important piece of the puzzle. So how do you actually put a number on that? Well, the formula might look a little intimidating, but the idea behind it is actually pretty simple. You're basically just adding up all the reviews over a certain period of time, and then you normalize it. You squish it down to a score between 0 and 1. That way you can compare any two businesses, apples to apples, on how much buzz they're getting. Let's make this real with an example. Let's call it the Bright Smile Clinic. Okay, so these guys get a ton of reviews. We run the numbers through that formula and boom, they get a visibility score of 0.8. That's really high on a scale of 0 to 1. It tells us that a whole lot of people are talking, which means their data is way more reliable. All right, so we've got the volume covered. That's ingredient number one. Ingredient number two is all about the tone of that conversation. We call this favorability. This is where we finally start to look at whether what people are saying is, good or bad. Now, you might be thinking, can't you just count the positive reviews and the negative ones? And yeah, you could, but that's a pretty basic way to do it. The smart way, the method used in actual research, is based on something called the Deep House Index. And this is so cool because it doesn't just count. It actually measures the balance between the good and the bad, which gives you a way more sophisticated picture of what's going on. The key thing to understand about favorability is that it's all about the overall feeling. The formula looks at positive feedback, let's call it F, and negative feedback, U. But it's the relationship between those two that really matters. Think about it. A place with 10 glowing reviews and 0 complaints is very different from a place with 100 good reviews, but also 90 bad ones. The balance is completely different, and that's what this score captures. And this is where things get really, really cool. This isn't just some dumb keyword search for good or bad. This whole thing is powered by some seriously advanced AI. It's called aspect-based sentiment analysis. What that means is the AI can read a single review and understand that, say, the friendly staff was a huge plus, but the long wait time was a big negative. It gets that nuance within the same comment. It's just incredibly detailed. Okay, let's go back to our Bright Smile Clinic. They get a lot of love. Mostly good reviews, right? But there are a few negative ones in there that pull the score down a little. So their favorability score ends up being a 0.6. It's still good, definitely positive, but it's not perfect. And that's the point. It reflects the real world. So there we have it. Our two main ingredients are on the table. We've got visibility, that's the volume, and we've got favorability, that's the tone. Now, it's time to combine them and get our final, complete reputation score. So just to quickly recap where we are, first we figured out the volume of the conversation. That gave us our visibility score. Then we analyzed the tone of everything people were saying. That gave us our favorability score. So we have these two powerful numbers ready to go. And you know what? The final step is shockingly simple. To get the complete media reputation score, or MR for short, you just multiply the visibility score by the favorability score. That's it. It's this beautiful little formula that perfectly combines the how much with the what kind of feedback. So let's finish off our example. The Bright Smile Clinic had that strong visibility score of 0.8, right? And a pretty good favorability of 0.6. You multiply those two together and you get a final reputation score of 0.48. And that number tells you so much more than just a star rating, because it's baked in with both how many people are talking and what they're saying. Okay, so why does any of this matter? Why go through all this math? Well, the big takeaway here is that this is how you make genuinely smarter choices. It doesn't matter if you're a customer picking a new dentist or you're a business owner trying to figure out what people really think about you. So if you remember anything from this, remember these key things. 1. A real reputation score absolutely has to combine both volume and tone. 2. That high star rating from just a handful of reviews, it's way less trustworthy than a slightly lower one from hundreds of people. 3. These sophisticated indexes we talked about, they paint a much more accurate picture than just counting good versus bad. And finally, none of this deep dive analysis would even be possible without AI doing the heavy lifting. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. The next time you're scrolling through reviews for anything, what are you going to look for now? Are you just going to glance at the stars? Or are you going to look a little deeper for the signs of a reputation that's not just good, but is also visible and truly trusted?